News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. Getting off to a little bit of a late start, but hey, better late than never. And we're going to have a great show this morning. We have guests waiting in the green room. It is Bob Johnson and Tom Price. They've been on the show about 3-4 other times, and so we're glad to have them back. They have some more information that they wanted to share and get out. And since this is a community show where anybody is welcome on, and anybody's comments are welcome, and we're able to keep the conversation on your station going each and every weekday morning between 7:30 and 8:30. I said, hey, let's do that again, and let's see what we can talk about this morning. And I know our guests always appreciate when they come on. So we're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. We're also streaming live at cklu.ca. Click on the Radio Player Canada app. You can stream us, download it, and you can take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. We're also streaming at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. For the live, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow. Mainly comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching. And today, because we have our guests, it's not always we're able to get everybody's comments read. Very little comments read for those listening. However, we do get everyone's comments up on the screen and encourage our guests to pay attention to the comments as they come up. So if they can see a question or whatever that stands out to them that they can answer, it's part of the conversation, right? We're also found on demand on those two platforms, along with x.com/Sudbury News and Sudbury.news, which is Sudbury's news aggregator. All the local news comes into one webpage. We started that as a community service for our citizens to be able to just check out the news in one webpage instead of having to go all over the place to find it. And we'll dive in with a little bit of weather, and then we'll be back with Tom Price and Bob Johnston right after this. I promise it's going to be a great show, or your money back. Okay, and the weather today, I could just sum it up into one word: hot. But we'll go into more detail. 20 degrees currently. It feels like 28 already in the morning. It's mostly cloudy. Chance of showers this afternoon with a risk of thunderstorm. High of 29, humidex 30 tonight. Clear, low of 13. Wednesday, sunny, becoming a mix of sun and cloud late in the afternoon. High of 26, UV index 9 or very high. Hot. Okay, so again, Wednesday, tomorrow, mainly sunny, high of 26. Thursday, 40% chance of showers, high of 21. 30% chance of showers on Friday, high of 17. It cools off a bit on Friday. And then it starts to rise again, the temperature that is, a mix of sun and cloud on Saturday, 24, and then 28 with a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. 26 with a 30% chance of showers on Monday. That's your long-range forecast there. Look at your satellite as of 8 p.m. last night. Let's see if we can get this to have a little bit more of a recent picture of our current situation from our satellite here. But yeah, it just seems to be, we'll just get it rolling here. And what's this? This is as of in the wee hours of the morning. So you see a lot of the clearing with some clouds coming in. And that's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with Bob Johnson, Tom Price, your comments, and more right after this. And so, yes, we are live here. Got a few people to just give morning shout-outs for before we get to our guests and a great conversation this morning. Northern Hillbilly, good morning, people. Judy, good morning. Monique, good morning. Sudbury, smiley emoji. Thanks for being on. Belinda, statement of the day, good morning. When you fail, you don't start from zero. You start from experience. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the success. Double heart emoji. Thank you very much, Belinda. And Grand Rising Monique, heart emoji, smiley or a sun emoji, exclamation points. Thanks for being on along with Marianne. Good morning, everyone from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. Pat, good morning. Peace sign, peace to you as well, Pat. And Vin, morning to you. Jerome, I believe he sent me a video this morning, and definitely want to get that shown on the show. We talked about the thing that the lady was talking about this morning on that video before, the Cloward Piven plan or theory or whatever to disrupt a civilization that's going pretty good. How you want to, if you want to take down a civilization, that's where you want to do it. And so there's a lot of those things going on in our Western society these days. So thank you for that very much. And Jerome, enjoying the weather in Cambridge. Good morning to you. Sudbury News Truth Troopers. A lot of emojis there. Much appreciated. And Denise, good morning, everyone. Like and share. Okay, with that, we'll just welcome our guests this morning and make sure that their mic is working. And we have Bob and Tom joining us. So Bob, looks like you're in the screen there. And so how are you guys doing this morning? How are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. A little frustrated out on the street, but doing great.
Okay.
And I'd like to take a minute to thank, from me and Tom to thank Sudbury News and all our listeners for caring, and it's really appreciated. Thank you.
Hey, it's we're on a community radio station, right? And so this is community. We are here to talk about the issues that we face as a community and be open to all. And hopefully there's nothing that we can't talk about when it comes to what we want to do to make our community better. And I know I've had a lot of flack from certain people in the community having you guys on, like saying that you have no credibility and, it's very negative and all kinds of things. But the way I look at it is that everyone has to have an opportunity to share things that they have experience with and allow people to listen, and then leave it up to the people who are listening to make the decisions whether or not this person or that person is credible or whether they have something valuable to say, which I think we all have something valuable to say. And that's the idea of a conversation. Everyone is included, and allow people to make up their own. It's called freedom of speech, first of all. And that's what this radio station is built on. And just to let everyone know that the views and things that are said on this show are not necessarily that of Laurentian University, the staff, the faculty there, or CKLU's staff or faculty at the radio station. They are that of the people being interviewed, the host, and the people commenting, and we take full responsibility for our comments. Okay, now with that, we talked about what we wanted to talk about. Last night you sent me a text and you gave a few topics. So what's on your mind these days, Bob?
Well, first of all, we're borrowing a lot of money. KPMG states that we can borrow lots more. The mayor's got planned another $124 million to be borrowed. We're in serious shape, bad shape. And the people who don't believe us, 99.9% of our records are all from the city. Not only that, the other ones are actually what we view out on the streets and et cetera, and et cetera. There's many questions. Like, let's start with the homeless. The numbers when I was at the Blue Door Soup Kitchen were 220 people with the less homeless population. Now we have more homeless population, and the lunches are down to 140 people. Where are all these people? Like, yes, I understand they're in the bush and so on, but is that not a great fear? But we can still buy this and buy that and dream of all these fantasy island projects. It's our commitment to work with these homeless people and find the core of the problem to move on. Samaritan Center, beautiful, nice and clear in front and everything else. You see one person there, that's amazing. You drive down Medina Lane and there's 50 of them and they're in the roughest shape you ever seen. And there's no water facilities except for the fountain, or sorry, no cooling centers. We're going to get one, but that's July. What about now? And the worst thing we can ever do is chase these addictions into the bush like we did with the homeless. Worst thing we can do, because we'll never have a body count. There's a meeting tomorrow at Tom Davies Square from 1 to 3 in the foyer. I recommend that everybody who can make it come out and listen to their 50 projects for downtown and then millions and millions of dollars they want to spend when all our infrastructure and everything, our roads are just disgusting.
Yeah, so there's a few things here, right? So it seems like the city's strategy is so that way out of sight, out of mind, I guess, right? So they're not, people can't see the homeless population when they come downtown. A lot of people have complained they don't feel safe when they come downtown with a lot of the people that don't have housing and maybe struggling with addiction and they're just on the street and whatever. And so they say they don't feel safe when they come downtown. And so I guess the city's strategy was, well, let's get them out of downtown. Let's kind of disperse them around. But then there's issues with that. Okay, sure, you don't see as many people downtown, but now where are they? Like you're saying, and who's looking after them and where are their needs being taken care of, right? So at least if you have a place like the Samaritan Center and they're able to gather, they have everything they need, mainly food and maybe shelter if we have the proper shelters. You got to have it in a central place or else you're going to have multi places all over the city. One in Chelmsford, one in the Valley East, one in Coniston, whereas if it's downtown, at least, it makes sense like that. But with these large projects you brought up, the city is having this, I guess, public meeting to discuss their 30, I guess it was over 30 years or something they've been planning for these projects for downtown, how to beautify it, what to do with downtown. And like you said, a lot of them are millions and millions of dollars. In these projects, is there anything in these, I guess, projects they're going to be talking about that have to do with solutions for our homeless population?
Of course not.
And
no homeless, no addictions. And it's sad because you know what? I have a plan what I want to put in place, but it's another 3 to 4 weeks away. And it's to get to the core of the problem. Not just talking about it, not just giving out a granola bar, but finding out the actual roots of these individuals, why they are, where they are, why they are, who they are, and so on. And everybody has a story. And if you give them the opportunity to tell them, you understand a lot better instead of assuming, instead of labeling. And it's time now, if you want to solve the issue and work on a cause, well, let's do it. It don't cost millions and millions of dollars like they're spending on nothing. Just watching the railway train go by. For example, the fire station. How can you explain to me 12 to 24-hour shifts at the fire station downtown? You have 2 security guards in the building. When a truck leaves, there's a man out front and the lights go on. When the truck gets back, there's 3 guys out back guiding the truck back in. Why are we paying security probably about $150? I said probably. About $150 an hour to watch. It makes no sense to me.
So there's security guards at the fire hall downtown, 2 of them on shift all the time. And the reason for them is what? The protection of the firefighters or the protection of the building? Or what's the reason for the security?
The only thing I can assume would be so the homeless don't enter the building.
Aren't there?
But then there's a little story what goes back, which is more of Tom's experience than mine, where he can share it if he wants. But yeah, it don't make any sense. And the money, the taxpayers' money, going foolishly like that, they walk around the building. That's all they ever do. And that's what I've seen. And if you don't believe me, go downtown and take a look. It's all facts what we have, like I said, from the city or what you can actually see. So nobody's hiding nothing, especially us. We're 100% on board with the community to show the truth.
Well,
but we're scared about what the cops are actually going to get to.
And that's the thing. People need to be made aware of things. And every organization needs, because if it doesn't have this, it starts to just grow like a weed, and there's no checks and balances. You need critique. You need critics. You need people who are questioning when an organization makes a decision. And so it keeps the organization healthy when you're able to have that. And that's what I find our conversations are like. We're looking at, decisions that the city has made and saying, okay, so where did that come from? How is that? What's that in terms of a cost to the taxpayer? Is that exactly the best idea for the city? Is that going to help it? In what way is it going to help? And is it the best use of our money? And all these questions, right? And every organization needs that, or it's just going to be like the emperor who has no clothes. It won't even realize what they're doing after a while because they end up being in a bubble. And I do feel a lot of the people from Sudbury feel that that's what's happened with our city hall over the years. They're just not really all that in touch with the realities that go on in our community. And that's what I hear from everyday, regular, average people. That's what I hear the majority of people saying. Whether the city appreciates that or not, I can't refute that's the way people feel. That's what they say. And that's the majority of people. And
well, like our
is what it is.
They're all in for a photo op. If it's the airplane hangar or if it's the Science North Dock, whatever. Oh, let's get a picture taken. I don't see any pictures downtown with the homeless or Memorial Park or Medina Lane, where the true actual causes and facts are lying right under their eyes, and they're in denial. And on that note, I don't want to cut you off, but I know we're running late for time, so I'd like to pass it over to Tom.
Sure, not a problem. Always enjoy talking to both you guys. There's so many things to talk about all the time with what's going on in the city, and it's always really great to have you guys tell us what, as being critical of the city and their decisions, and not only just critical, but backing it up with some analysis and some research and things like that. And so, good morning, Tom. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, AJ, and good morning to you, and thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you. So you guys had another public meeting at Grace Family Church. How did that go? It was last Thursday, correct?
Yes, it was. And we made a YouTube video, which is up on YouTube now.
Yes.
Of the presentation. But I would just like to take a second and comment to the people who say we have no credibility.
Okay.
Why didn't you come to our meeting last Thursday and supply us with real numbers? Because the numbers we're using are city numbers. We don't make up any numbers ourselves. And if you have more credible information, we can pass it back to the city to get them to correct their information.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who has criticism of our credibility, please provide us with what you think is the correct information. Now, what would you like to talk about?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the email that you sent me with the YouTube video, and I want to copy and paste that into the chat so that people have the presentation that they can go and watch on their own, no matter who they are. And I would encourage people from the city, actually, that take exception to some of your analysis and figures and watch it themselves. And they can just speak to everything you speak to in that presentation, right? If you give a fact or you give a figure, they can then say, no, it's this. No, they can go line by line in your presentation and speak to all of the falsehoods, apparently is what I'm hearing a lot of people from the city feeling that, you know, it's not reputable. It's not correct information. They don't know where you're getting this from. And so they would be able to line by line refute everything you say and say, no, it's not right what he said. This is right. No, that's not right. This is right. Right. And so that would then clarify all of these things with the everyday average voter, citizen, community member in our city. And so I'm just going to share that in our chat.
Just one comment on that. If they do provide you the answer that what we are saying is incorrect, we have city documentation to prove everything that we say. So if they're saying we're not being correct, ask them where their proof is with city documentation that we are wrong. Because ours is all based on, and the best example I can think of is, I don't know whether you saw the market area for our event center, 387,000 square kilometers, reaching all the way to Hudson Bay. We're going to attract attendance from Hudson Bay shoreline to our event center. And it reaches all the way from the Quebec border to the east shore of Lake Superior. Well, surely some of those people in Sault Ste. Marie and North Bay would be a little bit upset at us stealing their tourists. But that's what's in the reports. It's in two reports. It was in the 2017 report by Price Waterhouse, and it was in the 2024 report by Brisbane Brook Bainan as the market area for our event center.
So you're speaking to, before you do any project that requires money, whether it's a business plan or whatever, is you do market research, first of all, to see if you have the market that will be able to sustain whatever project you are going to build. And so they've gone out and went all the way to Hudson Bay and said, yeah, there's going to be people coming from all the way there. And it's a huge, expansive area. It's like saying, yeah, people in Houston, Texas actually are going to come all the way up. It's not that far, I'm being sarcastic, but exaggerating. But to the same point is, no, is that real that people are going to come all the way from these areas to take part in, contributing to the event center, right? And so you're questioning that. You're questioning the very marketing analysis that they've done so far as to, that's not even the total market area. It's smaller than that, more than likely. Correct?
Yeah, and for example, that market area includes 35% of the province of Ontario. 35,
in terms of geography.
Yes.
Correct.
Now, in that area, they claim a population of 550,000. I've not seen anything that establishes that from Statistics Canada. Maybe they have better sources than I do, but if they do, please supply the information and I will correct our assumptions, our conclusions that we reach from their claims.
And to me, Northern Ontario, and in any of the research I've done for any analysis for any businesses or anything like that, the total market in Northern Ontario is about that. So that's including Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, Timmins, North Bay, and then it's around 550,000 if you include all of those centers. But are we really going to be having people from Thunder Bay coming to our event center, right?
Well, Thunder Bay isn't in the market area they defined.
Yeah, so I don't know.
There's a big chunk of the population right there.
Maybe they're taking into account. Maybe they're taking into account after immigration and the future population. I don't know, but like you're saying, you'd like to at least see how they've arrived at that number, correct?
Yeah, because that's what's stated in both of those reports. And those reports were presented to council, and council majority approved proceeding based on those reports. So if that's the information they're using to approve spending $500 million of our money on a hockey rink, then we have a right to know. And
Yeah.
so does every other citizen in this city.
For sure. And I don't think anyone would argue with that at all. And no matter what side you're on, whether you think one side is right, one side is wrong. Now, we had Councillor Parent on the show 2 weeks ago now, something like that. And I brought up some of these things to him, but he had said he's not privy to a lot of that information, and he's waiting until September when the city actually comes forward with their final results of a lot of the analysis that they're doing for this event center. And then he'll be able to speak to it.
Then I would ask Councillor Perron how he can claim that we are lying.
Oh, I don't know. He didn't say that on the show. He did not say that he feels that you guys are lying. He just said he can't speak to one way or the other whether you're right or wrong because he doesn't have the information yet, and he's waiting until September to get that from the city.
But he did call the information on social media lies, and further, when interviewed by Tyler Clark, he not only intimated, he stated that this is a sign of people attacking the government. That is insurrection. And we are on social media. So did he include OTOC in that? We've asked him to clarify. He has not responded. We sent it 2 days later, we sent him an email asking him to identify where our lies are.
And he never got back to you. He never got back to you.
That's since February.
Wow.
This is the middle of June. March, April, May, June. 4 months it's taken him, and he still hasn't responded to what lies we were talking about.
Interesting. Well,
and if he had costs before September, how can he claim anybody was lying?
Yeah, and so just for the people who are watching, anyways, on the radio, it's kind of hard, but I've put up your presentation that you recorded with all the information, the details that we're talking a little bit about right now. I have it up on the screen. So anyone, even if Facebook takes the link down, which they sometimes take people's comments out, we don't know why they do that, but sometimes they're lost. And so I have it up on the screen here. So if anyone even wants to just look at that and type it out into the address bar, they'll be able to get the video. At least that's one way to get it. And if you are, whether you're city staff or you're an elected official in the city, and you just hear that there's all this information going out there that's wrong and misinformation and stuff, you have the opportunity now to view that presentation and speak to item by item as it's portrayed in that presentation, and then answer each and every individual thing. So that way people know which things you're talking about that's misinformation, not just it's all information. Misinformation, what? Tom Price's name is misinformation when he says he puts his name at the end of it. Is that misinformation? Is the organization name misinformation? Like, what is the actual misinformation that's in this presentation? It'll be great to clarify that for people. Yes. Okay. So again, and thanks for all that you're doing. And so you're retired, obviously, so you have a little bit of time. And so what do you get out of what you're doing here? Like what does Tom Price, what's in it for Tom Price really for doing all of this work that you're doing? It's pretty extensive. There's a lot of analysis that goes into this. You guys are putting on a lot of public meetings. You're working hard at this. So at the end of the day, what do you benefit from all of this?
I expect to see in Canada, being the country that we are, I expect to see a local government who acts responsibly and does things according to proper procedure. Okay? And for example, we listed in the letter that we sent asking for public recognition as a community group, we listed 7 different key items for an event center that should be evaluated. And we have received, and those 7 items, by the way, are not done properly. And we can demonstrate that they're not done properly, and we do. And we've had no response at all to any of them. Okay? For example, transit, I think you would have to admit that transit, and everyone would have to admit that transit capability to get customers to that event center should be a pretty high priority. What is the transit system that will populate that attendance? There's nothing in either of the reports on the event center about the transit capabilities. Now they'll say, oh, we have a transit study and all that, but that transit study covers less than 0.33% of the market area. Less than 1/3% of the market area. It doesn't even cover all of Greater Sudbury. It only covers 35% of Greater Sudbury. It doesn't cover all of any of the metropolitan area outside of Greater Sudbury. So transit isn't important. They're relying on cars. Okay? And if they're relying on cars, then you have to look at the transportation system. Transportation system is our roads. Do you really want to look at our roads? I mean, we had a company in and did resurfacing on the Kingsway. It's been there 2 years now. It's beautiful. Why have we not allowed that contractor to come back in and finish the project that he was contracted for? We already committed the money to him. Let's get the work done. Let's see how it stands up. They're not doing that. That offends me. It offends me that a proposition that they entered into of their own volition, they aborted halfway through, did not allow him to complete the pilot project. And believe me, I've had a lot of experience in pilot projects in the metallurgical industry. You would never run it the way they ran that pilot project. That pilot project appeared to be an assassination of his capability. And the report they put out is unbelievable. I can't believe that engineers would put out a report of that nature, but they did. So
for people who aren't familiar with this particular thing you're talking about right now, Sudbury wanted to try out a company that had an innovative way of paving the roads, and what they would do is they have a machine that kind of takes the road ahead of it and mulches it up, takes all the old pavement and brings it into some part of the machine, adds a few new materials to it to bring back recycles the asphalt, for lack of better term. It recycles it and then adds some more stuff to it to make it more resilient, and then paves it behind the machine or whatever. It's like one kind of process where it recycles the pavement and saves money, and apparently does an even better job of what we've had. And so we wanted to try this out in the city of Sudbury. So there's this contractor that has the capabilities. They came up to Sudbury. They started doing it. And like you said, there's a patch on the Kingsway that they did that looks like it's still in good shape. So obviously it worked. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. The prediction at the time when they aborted the project, they claimed that it wouldn't last a year. Well, it's been 2 winters now, and it looks like new. So why don't we let them finish that pilot project and prove it out or disprove it?
So what are the reasons? Why would they? So what were the reasons they gave why they kiboshed the pilot project?
Oh, they had all kinds of things, and it's a long list of falsehoods that I can't get into here. But anytime anybody wants to sit down and go through it, I am more than prepared to go through that report and fill you in on what they did wrong. Mm-hmm. For example, and this is just one example, okay? To measure the flatness of the road surface, if you don't have a flat road surface, you get vibration in your vehicle driving over it and everything else. That's in the direction of travel. When they measured the flatness of the road surface, they measured across the width of the road surface. And they didn't use any type of sophisticated measuring devices. They used a piece of aluminum tubing, which doesn't even have a mil spec within the requirements that they were looking for. And they measured the gaps using a loonie and a quarter. The thickness of the loonie and the quarter, like that was more than the 3 millimeter deflection in that. Who cares how smooth it is across the cross section? It's the direction of travel. Now, that should be pretty obvious to anybody. That doesn't require an engineer to think that way. But that's one of the issues that they killed them on. They also told them to take up 50 millimeters of surface paving and put it back down again. Well, guess what? Some areas of the Kingsway, when they went down 50 millimeters, they were in gravel. There wasn't 50 millimeters of paving on there.
So what does that tell the average? What does that tell somebody then?
Well, anybody who gets to read the report, it tells them that our roads are in terrible shape. Now, they compensated for that gravel and put down a surface that's still there after 2 years, okay? But they got condemned because when they took a core sample, the surface that the company put down would not adhere to the gravel. Guess what? Paving asphalt will not adhere to gravel. So why was there gravel down there? There's supposed to be 4 inches of asphalt.
So the reason why I asked that question is because the conclusion is the roads weren't built right in the first place. That's what the conclusion I come to. And that's why we have such bad roads here to begin with.
Oh my gosh, are you an engineer?
No, I just have a brain. Like, I just think, just critical thinking, like if the city is giving all these specs to this company, you got to go down so far and whatever, and they go down that far and there's not even asphalt there. That means the company before them that built the roads didn't put the asphalt to the standards that they needed to, which is what I've been saying all along. There was an expert on CBC radio talking about our roads and how they should be built, and we wouldn't have the problems we have right now because he deals with much colder temperature roads in other areas with bigger trucks. And that's what we say. The reason why we have potholes is because it's cold and we got big trucks. That's the only reason. But no, it's this expert said it's because our roads aren't built properly in the first place. And this shows that when this contractor was told to go down so far and grab so many inches of asphalt, and there wasn't even that enough for him to grab, it went down to the gravel already. So there wasn't enough asphalt put on in the first place. It wasn't built properly.
Now, that is the transportation routes provided today to get to the event center. Okay? That wasn't even considered in any of the reports, the road conditions. Are we doing anything about it? They even went so far, and I have the documentation from the city, as to state that the tax levy for the roads improvement could be diverted in 2027 to the event center if there was a problem with financing. Now, the tax levy was for the roads. And in December of 2024, they put out a public announcement that that tax levy was directed for road improvements that would otherwise not be funded. And at the same time, they're saying that they can divert that levy. In making the public announcement, they bonded a contract with the public to use that levy for roads. To divert that over to the event center would be misappropriation of funds and breach of contract with taxpayers. Now, if the fellow who's watching who thinks that we are in error, then you get me the documents that prove that they're not doing that and not going to do it. I mean, I'll believe it if I see it in writing. I haven't seen anything in writing, but that's what they stated in those documents that council majority approved going forward. In other words, council majority approved that they would be able to take the tax levy for roads and apply it to the event center. Now, where's our credibility on that? That's not us. That's what council has done. So that's not our credibility. Anybody who says we're not credible, come forward, come to one of our meetings. We will listen. We will not harass you. We will not discount you. We will take your serious concerns, and we will put it with every other serious concern and evaluate why that information is to you and not to us, because we're using public documentation.
For sure. And if I'm in the right or whatever, and I need to show other people, I have no problem. If I feel I have the facts and I'm in the right, I have no problem having people question. I mean, and facts don't care about feelings, right? It's like people try and bring emotions into things whenever they can't back something up with facts. Oh, there was one particular person who said, well, come on in the show and basically say, your viewers, they're very, I forget what they said though. They're very hurtful. They'll say hurtful things and stuff. It's like, oh no, it's very rare. Pardon me?
And what is that viewer doing? He's saying hurtful things to the truth.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Like, I feel that it just should be just a very simple conversation of, okay, is this true or not? Is there a document? Yes. No. Did we do something like that? Yes. Okay. No, here's the real answer. It's not an emotional thing. It's a factual thing. So either it's there or it's not. Either it's right or it's wrong. Either you made a mistake and you just say, sorry, my bad. And people appreciate that when you do that and you move on and life's good no matter what. Or if it's not true, but you want to do it anyways, now it starts getting messy. So now it's like, it's like a lie, right? Like we've heard many years ago, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory.
That's right.
Because you don't have to remember what you said, because you're just always going to say exactly what you remember, and that's the truth. So you don't have to remember anything.
Well, just as a point, and rather than relying on my memory, because I am getting older, so I didn't say old, but I have a 3-inch binder of the documentation from the city that proves every point we've made. Now, if anybody is saying that that's a lie, I wouldn't argue with it. I mean, if they can prove the city's lying, hey, by all means. But we have the documentation that proves everything we claim. My 3-inch binder is there.
So let's say someone did come forward and say, no, actually, you are misinformed. This is the truth. And you looked at it, and in fact, it was right what they said. How would you deal with that type of a scenario?
I would put out a public announcement that we erred on the occasion. Here is the correction. Please accept our apologies for misleading you.
And
this is the truth.
Here, I got to give you the right thing here. Yeah, that's the right answer. And that's what everybody should do. If you're claiming to know something, you're claiming to have the right answer, you're claiming to know a fact, and somebody else then shows that indeed you were misinformed, misled, for some reason it's not the case, and they prove it with the facts, right away, the right thing to do is just to say, you know what? Thank you for that, because that's what I'm actually after, are the facts and the reality. And thank you so much for doing that. I was misinformed.
Yeah.
And
every time we do one of these, we always put the writer in, please, if anyone has conflicting information, please contact us. And we do that on every one. And no one's ever came forward. Not the city, not the public, not the special interest groups, no one. No one's ever come forward and said, no, this number is wrong, except Councillor Perron and Tony Chakouti at the February 18th meeting, when they claimed that $200 million was the cost of the event center and everything else was lies. Well, I'm sorry, their own documentation adds borrowed money and interest to the tune of $164 million to that 200. That's $364 million. If they take into account the social cost of the carbon dioxide emissions, that adds another 135 million. Are we going to ignore those social costs? I guess so. Are we going to ignore the interest? Well, apparently, according to Mr. Perron and Mr. Security, those interest costs don't count. So who's going to be paying those? I don't want to see it on my tax bill. They told me 200 million. Every other taxpayer in the city has the same option.
Yeah, and I can appreciate someone who says, "Well, interest is a little different. It's the same as the mortgage. Your house costs $130,000. That's what a house costs." But at the same time, we can decipher the two. We can say, yes, the house costs $132,000. However, if you really take into account the payments of $1,500 you're going to pay over 25 years, your actual cost is going to end up being this. It's like a two-part answer. Yes, the original cost is this, but if you include what you're going to be paying over time with the interest, it's going to end up being that. It's easy to say it that way. Like for people that take exception, yeah, for sure. And there's nothing wrong with knowing what something's going to cost.
Exactly. And as taxpayers, surely to goodness, taxpayers have a right to know what the end cost of that facility will be.
For sure.
Because they're going to be paying on it for 30 years. 30 years, $10 million a year.
That's right. And I think I'm, for sure, and I think I made that clear on the show before, is I'm actually in favor of a new arena. Like I am in favor of it. And I've been very public about that. And I want to see that. Because I've seen so many other cities be able to do this. And they can do it. They have new arenas. And I don't know why Sudbury, for some reason, if it's a curse or something, we're just not able to get things done. I don't know what's going on. But I like progress. I like new things. I like doing things right too, though. And I like, I think you can have both of those. I think you can have it and do it right at the same time. And there's ways to get that done. I just think it's our thinking that's wrong. And we think we can just do whatever we want and without any consequences. But, I think we just need to look at other cities that did it right and follow their models.
And AJ, I'm not a sports fan, so I don't really care whether we have a new arena or not. Okay, and it's no skin off my back either way. But what I do want to, if they're going to build it, be honest about what the cost is, and let the people know what it is costing them. The City of London paid $10 million a year on their taxes for the arena in London. That everybody says, "Oh, this is a great thing." Well, that $10 million a year came out of the very poor pockets, the same as it did out of the rich pockets. And guess what? Their homeless went up too. And ours will go up. When you overtax the poor, it's inevitable that you will have homelessness.
For sure, yes. Well, with that, I just want to say thanks, guys, for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
We just ran right out of time like you wouldn't believe. Just like the city's running out of money.
No, correction. The city has no money.
You're right. We're borrowing it.
No. The money is the taxpayers' money.
You're right. It's true. Yeah.
Every penny they spend is taxpayer money.
City borrows it and the taxpayer pays it back with interest.
Yeah.
It's true. It's not a really great thing. It's like having someone in your household who's crazy with a credit card and you end up having to pay the bill kind of thing. So,
and including interest.
So thanks again for being on.
I'll turn you back to Bob now.
Well, we have to wrap it up. So I just wanted to say the meeting that the city's having is what, tomorrow?
Tomorrow from 1 to 3, foyer of Tom Davey Square.
Yep.
And please, we're bringing up a lot of projects, and there's plan to spend a lot of our money. Thank you.
So go out to Tom Davey Square between 1 and 3 tomorrow. I think they're having 2 meetings. That's one of them. And
one tomorrow night, 6 to 8.
So 6 to 8?
Yeah.
So 1 to 3 and 6 to 8. So whatever one suits your schedule, get out and see the legacy projects that the city is proposing to beautify our downtown, some of the plans that have been in the works for years and years and years. And you'll be able to share your comments or whatever you feel about these projects if you go down to this meeting. And again, thanks Bob Johnston, Tom Price for being on today. We really appreciate you. Until next time, hope you guys have a best of luck in everything that you're doing. And yeah, keep cool for sure. It's very warm out there. And help all those people that are having a hard time keeping cool. Keep them as cool as you can. And we're grateful for all the work that you do.
Thank you, my friends.
Thanks, and thanks all y'all for commenting. There's a lot of comments today, a lot of questions, so hopefully everyone goes back through the video, sees all of the comments and the questions that were put up there, and continue the conversation on Facebook. The show is found on demand there, as well as X and YouTube, and on our Sudbury.news website. Stay tuned now for your shot daily on CKLU 96.7 FM, and we'll see you guys same time, same place tomorrow, God willing. Have a great Tuesday, everyone. Ciao for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.